Happy day before Easter, everybody. Hope your Easter's going to go well. So let me get ahead of it and say Happy Easter. A couple quick things here on this Saturday. A couple of what's the word looking for? Housekeeping items. I'm going to be doing a podcast with Mike, the Rational Boomer, tomorrow night after all the Easter festivities. You should find it on Monday. Should see it on Monday on YouTube and Spotify. I seem to be the opening act for his week for the last few weeks, but I think it's everything that's gone on. It's nice to kind of look at and look ahead because we don't know what's next, and that's the thing about all that, and we're going to discuss that. Again, you can find me here on TikTok, on RJ12764 on TikTok. You can find me on Substack. Trying to build that. I'm at 140, trying to get to 200 before the end of April. So if you haven't subscribed, my handle there is Binder38US on TikTok. I'm sorry, on Substack. Binder38US on Substack. Trying to get that up. Also, I have a paid subscription there. If you want to join the paid subscription, that'd be great. It helps me out. I don't put stuff behind a paywall, so everyone gets everything for free regardless. But if you want to cough in a little money for me, I would appreciate it, especially a lot of things going on with medical. It helps me out. If you support my work, I really would appreciate it. Also, I'm at 347 followers on YouTube. I'd like to get to 400 by the end of the April. And again, that's Binder38US at YouTube. Haven't got a handle on that one. I haven't done lives there. From what I'm telling you, when I've been told to try to do live on YouTube is basically you're asking for trouble type of thing. So we'll see. Also, you could reach me if you want to make a comment or anything I said. 470-236-2403. I have a voicemail there. I've had a few people send me some remarks. Thank you. If you send me enough remarks or have questions, I might do a live or show like that with any questions you might have. Also, if you have any emails that questions you want to send me and ask me about stuff, I'm at KUMQUAT, the number 6. That's kumquat6 at outlook.com. Feel free to do that. I'd be lovely again to get enough emails so we can do an email show and answer questions and any kind of comments you have. If you're interested on a one-time donation, I do have a Venmo and PayPal. If you want to give a one-time donation, email me. I'll send you the link. I do have my Venmo link on my TikTok. Alrighty, so we've got all that out of the way. And again, I would appreciate any support for my work if you think it's worth it. Well, Trump and the White House have gone into total silence mode. They are bunkering this weekend, because after Trump went on did that weird ass speech where he was going to clear everything up for us about the war, the timeline, all that, which turned out to be just another set of lies that he says. But all was a bunch of stupid boasts that they've obliterated the army of Iran. They obliterated the navy of Iran. Iran has no aircraft or air superiority. We own the skies. They shot down an F-15 Strike Eagle with anti-aircraft, and looks like they got an A-10 Warthog. The Warthog pilot was able to ditch his aircraft in the water, and he was rescued. The F-15 pilot and weapons specialist, the pilot was recovered after some really dare and do by search and rescue. Apparently, a couple of helicopters got attacked and damaged, but we don't know where the weapons specialist is. He's still missing. Don't know what the Iranians are going to do, because remember, Pete Hegseth has told the Iranians that we are following no rules of engagement, no quarter. So if they decide to summary execute that guy, there's nothing we can do about it because we called the rules. See, that's the thing. My concern, and I was reading an article about Iranian people of Iran and especially Tehran, hiding, fearful, just regular citizens not really, want to be involved in this shit. According to reports, between the United States and Israel, we've killed 1,600 civilians in Tehran or across all Iran. They're worried that if they get a hold of someone, get a hold of the pilot or the weapon specialist, and something happens to them tragically, it's going to be worse for them. So they're kind of hoping he gets away, or the U.S. finds him, or maybe they'll show some restraints. We'll see. But how can he have restraint when the American Secretary of Defense, who, basically should just have a T-shirt, "I'm not the Secretary of Defense, I'm the Secretary of War," says, hey, no quarter. No, none of these woke Geneva Convention shit. So don't expect that from the enemy if you won't give it to them. So, and they still haven't said anything about putting ground troops on the ground. And I think part of the reason for the delay is what's happened in the Pentagon in the last 48 hours. So in the last year, they have been purging the upper brass in the Pentagon. Soldiers and officers that have been, and logistics people have been there for decades, running the Pentagon, making the Pentagon what it is. But the problem is that when you go in there and say, are you loyal to the Constitution or Trump? And they say the Constitution, they've been fleshing those guys out. Recently, in the last 48 hours, they fleshed out the Army Chief of Staff, the Army Chief head of chaplains, and one gentleman head of, I believe, strategy. 3 generals. One of them been there for 40 years. All of them, a couple of them, veterans of Middle Eastern War. And the reason that looks like they've been fleshed out for 2. One, there's some kind of game coming between J.D. Vance and Pete Hegseth. Vance is in the background trying to get ready to slide in, so he's going to be the hero to save us from ourselves. Don't buy into his bullshit. Don't buy into his bullshit. J.D. Vance is worse than Trump in the sense that he's a chameleon and he'll do what he has for power and still fuck us all. But it looks like those people have been pushing against troops being inserted into Iran, either Kark Island or try to take over this, or to secure the Strait of Hormuz. They were pushing back on Hegseth. They were not obeying his orders. They were saying this is not smart, and also this is an illegal war and an illegal order. They pushed back. So they got purged. But what's going on now is that would have been fine except for the aircraft getting shot down. Now everything's on the table. Also reports, they keep saying that they've gotten rid of all of Iran's ballistic missile capability, drone capability. They've been hitting their sites. Well, the Iranians have been digging them out after they've been bombed and makes them usable within the same day. They have some deep mountains that they're working from. And they're still pounding Israel. They're still pounding the Gulf states. Israel and Tel Aviv got hit again. We don't see it because apparently us, the United States and Israel, are basically shutting down the press. That's why the press is not in the White House this weekend. They don't want them to see anything. This is bad. Okay? That means things are worse than we thought. And now Trump and Hegseth are stuck. They don't know what to do. Word was that Trump asked for a 48-hour ceasefire. The Iranians said, go fuck yourself. Trump keeps saying there are negotiations. There are no negotiations, and they didn't want to negotiate with us. We started this. Okay? And to be honest, I'm not even talking about a military standpoint. It doesn't matter. They have the upper hand. Because, again, the United States has now in a conflict in an economic important part of the world where oil goes through. Oil makes the world go around. And Trump is trying to sell this now that if we leave, we don't need to Strait of Hormuz because we can do our own energy. Doesn't work like that, bro. Doesn't work like that. Oil is a world market. So, what does that mean for all of us? We're kind of stuck. We're stuck with this man and who's gotten too... He's been lucky enough to get involved with shit and it always come out smelling okay. I mean, he tried to do a freaking coup. In the end, he ended up president again. He always seems to be lucky, but I think he bit off too much he can chew this time. All right. This is not going to work through intimidation, and people aren't buying his shit. They're not. They've lost the narrative of Iran. You cannot sell to the American people, we're doing this to keep Iran from having a nuclear weapon. They never had a nuclear weapon. They have uranium, but they had a deal with us that you ripped off. And the idea that we're going to send in, the idea that we're going to send the special forces to recover this uranium, tons of it, and build an this is exactly the plan. They're going to build an airfield so special forces could fly out of Iran. Are you out of your fucking mind? That's what we're dealing with. Okay? Meanwhile, they're using the war as an excuse to end all social programs in the United States. Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP, anything that helps the American people, they're going to use it as an excuse and go to a wartime footing. Why? Because Trump thinks that he's a wartime president and he wants to be like FDR or Harry S. Truman and he wants to see tanks rolled out and he wants all that bullshit because he lives in a fucking fantasy. And also, the religious standpoint. The scariest thing about all this bullshit is the evangelicals have taken over in the White House. And they have convinced Trump that he is God's right-hand man. And he's doing this war to bring Jesus back or for God. Hell, Pete Hegseth didn't allow Catholic Good Friday services in the Pentagon yesterday. Didn't let people who are Catholic service members celebrate Good Friday Mass. They had to go to a Protestant Mass, a Protestant service. They are, Pete Hegseth and his preachers and all these evangelicals are leading us to the end of the world, hoping for God to come. Well, God's laughing at you. He is. And he's going to have a word with all of you later. But that's where we're at. We have a combination of incompetence, a combination of people who are lying, and a combination of people trying to make money off this war. In addition to a man, Donald Trump, is losing his mind through dementia. So, for everyone, this is basically the extinction burst of the conservative MAGA movement. Fortunately, I just hope they don't make all of us extinct at the same time. But that's where we're at this weekend. All I can tell y'all is have a good Easter. Celebrate either Easter or whatever pagan ritual that you want to do with the vernal equinox. I don't care. Because Easter and the vernal, it's a celebration of life. It is. Eggs, food. It's basically spring Christmas. We're celebrating life. We want to celebrate the return of Jesus rising from the tomb after 3 days. Yes, you can do that. But we need to celebrate life. Okay? Celebrate the achievements of Americans as a whole. Look what we did with Artemis II. Americans did that. Not fucking Elon Musk. Not fucking Jeff Bezos. Americans did that. Watch a baseball game. Enjoy that for a few minutes. Take it all in. Take in your family. Fuck, if you're an adult, go buy yourself a fucking Easter basket from Target. Free one. Eat a bunny. Eat a chocolate bunny. Alright? Get sick on chocolate. Just enjoy it for a while. Let this go for a little while. Okay? Because I think we're going to persevere. It's just going to be a rough road. But for this moment right now, with Easter, just enjoy it. Enjoy your family. Do it any way you want. Because that's America. That's what we should do. So thank you for listening to this long video. Just want to give you my take on everything going on right now. Kind of taking a break from work. I'm going to get back to it. But I want to thank you also those who have wished my wife well. Her last session of chemo, which was Friday. Thank you. Now we come to the hard steps. And keep us in your prayers. I would appreciate that. Again, I send you all the stuff out. If you want to subscribe to me at TikTok, Substack, and YouTube, I'd appreciate it. Again, Substack paid subscription. Any help would be great. If you want a one-time donation, I'll send you my Venmo or PayPal links. You can find my Venmo link at my TikTok. But for all of you, happy Easter. Take some time to enjoy yourself and your family. And please, please, please remember, there are more of us than there is of them. And we will survive and thrive.